Hi.
Hey, what's going on?
Quick question.
Yeah, what's up?
You were involved in a possession with somebody selling controlled dangerous substance. In the report, it says that you found 12, that 366 found 12K on his person. What happened to that money? Where did that money go?
Uh, when was this? I don't remember. I'm trying to like refresh my memory.
Let me get the date for you.
Okay.
The 6th of September, so it is a while ago. I have.
Jesus Christ. I think what we did was just add the fine on top of what he had.
Oh,
The
so you
thief.
added the fine on top of what? Okay.
Yeah, and he was fined for like whatever he had on him, and then the fine on top. Does that make sense?
Yep, that makes sense. I need to figure something out, but okay. Thank you for letting me know.
Yep, no worries. Take it easy.
Okay.
Alrighty. Um, my client isn't happy with that plea deal, so we will be taking it to court.
Okay.
Unfortunately, he thinks 3K out of the 12K he's losing is not worth it.
He does to realize if he loses, he doesn't get anything back.
Yeah, he knows that.
Okay. Let's I'll update the court.
That's awesome.
And I will say, if he can prove any part of that 12K belonged to him legally, we will reimburse it. But
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I asked about a bank statement or anything. He says he has no bank statement, so like I don't know if he could have got that like through doing the legal jobs, but I'll talk to him again, get a facts, well, stuff on what he says anyway. So, how are you doing anyway?
I'm doing okay. I'm just updating.
Oh, I'm not on about the updating, I'm on about the whole divorce thing.
Eh,
Because you guys were together for a while.
it happens.
Yeah. When I saw the document, the docket, I was like, What? It surprised me.
Nope. You can... Budge. Oh, wait, no. I'm going to delete that. Okay. Well, there's not much else we can do.
Alrighty, I'm just also stating it as well on my end.
However, the option still is that if you are still happy to continue representing him at this point.
Oh, I'm happy to.
Okay.
Oh, that's that. Okie dokie. Let's hope no one's driving alongside the bloody road again. That was fun.
I would get your clients Why am I putting my hands up? What the fuck? I would get your clients' availability and then we can move forward as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I'm gonna call him again in a minute and get his availability and all that. Right,
Perfect.
awesome seeing you again, Lyra.
Okay. I hope
Right,
you have
stay
a...
safe, alright?
You too.
Right. I guess you got a busy day ahead of you.
A little bit, yes.
Alright, I won't take much of your time then. You have fun. Stay safe.
It's a lot. Do you see him?
He went to get food.
Okay, if he can, when he comes back, if he can get through the solitary building. Hi.
Oh, he's
Hey,
here.
just remember to sign the marriage thing so I can.
I can't do that until the day.
Oh, you can't do it until the day. Okay, that's
No.
fine. Alright, I'll submit it. I'm gonna submit it anyway. So.
Yeah, just make sure you put my name, take my name and the date out because I haven't signed it yet.
Okay.
Do you want me to try bringing him into solitary?
Just bring him into solitary and then take him out. Holy shit.
Go out to the tunnel, or...
Hi, I'm trying to get someone out of the prison.
Oh. Who?
Leonardo Falcone.
Oh, he's awake?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, good.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and deal with that and then I'll be back. 10-9, Lena.
Right now, he is surrounded by J. Bingo, Liam, and Colt.
He needs to come in.
He's near the solitary building.
Okay, well, he needs to come on out. I'm in the prison, by the way. He needs to come out through the solitary if he is to... Yeah. If we're able to... In order to be able to release him, we need to be able to do that. I'm behind solitary, by the way. Maybe James and Charlie can help you with that.
Okay, it looks like they're starting to walk away from him.
Okay.
Hey, sorry, just now getting on radio. What's up? What
Wait a moment, Lena. James and Charlie, would you be able to go and help Lena get Leonardo Falcone out of the prison so I can charge him and release him?
I can help. Is he back by solitary?
That's where we're hopefully getting him into and then out of.
Yeah, he's waiting to come into the door, into solitary.
Are there any others with him?
I don't see any.
James, if you want to come down here with me to medical, we can come in from the medical bay and make sure he gets cleared out, and then bring him in.
Just let me know when to open the door.
everyone has free time. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
We got him.
Okay. So, give me 2 moments. I need to double check the warrant, and then...
Yo, this all could have been saved if I just came by after storm that one night 2 months ago, okay?
Yeah, pretty much. Yep.
Yeah, so that extra 2 hours sleep was not worth it.
Sorry, I need to make sure that that reflects things accurately. So I'm going to be fining you 30,000. You're then going to be released for the charges released. Okay. And you're now good to be released?
That's not even that bad. I'm only in... Yeah, no, we can work with this.
All right, follow me and we'll get you out of here.
No, no, no. I'm just gonna walk straight to Stop C.
Lyra.
Hi. Oh, you sound... Are you some distance away from your, like, phone?
Am I?
Oh, there we go.
I was yelling at it.
Okay. It doesn't work any better if you yell at it. I've tried. So... First of all, I've just fined Leonardo Falcone from the SEO account, so money needs to transfer back into the DOJ.
Okay.
Second, it was the thing I mentioned about... I've just realised there's a ghost in the prison. Good. There was an incident in report 111122 where they found 12k. He was basically caught for sale of controlled and dangerous substance, which I have him dead and right on it, and he doesn't want to.
Yeah, Lena, while you're up front, could you let Mr.
Doesn't want to
Jesse
plead
Better know that we
guilty
don't have
for that?
No, he doesn't want to plead guilty to that, and I've offered him a plea deal down to possession, second degree possession, but he doesn't feel like it. So the issue comes is they found 12k on him, and I 100% understand why he wouldn't have that money. We don't have any proof that he gained that money legally, and we'd have no proof that he gained that money legally. And I've said if you can prove that money has been given legally, then it can be reimbursed. Because they fined him for the 12k plus the excess in his things. Is that... I don't know. It feels slightly strange to do it that way, but I don't know if there's any other better way to do it.
So, I mean, like, they seized his money, and what'd they do with it?
They fined him for the total of the amount that he pled not guilty to, and the extra 12k on top. So they fined him 28,000. So the money's essentially gone back into LSPD accounts.
Where Scott Diaz is involved in this.
Now, I understand, I can support their argument in front of Lucy and say, we don't know how the money was gained. He was caught doing selling drugs, money of which he could have been gaining. Yeah. So we don't know how much he has sold, etc., etc. Unless, if he can prove that he earned that money legally, or he can give me proof that the money was his, any part of that, I will return it.
Yeah, for sure. Which makes sense. Just, I've never seen anyone ever do it.
Yeah.
I can understand the argument.
And that's the argument I'm going to have to defend. That's the argument I'm going to have to defend in court, but it feels strange, if that makes sense.
It does feel strange, because we've never done it. I've never sanctioned anyone to do such a thing. But I can understand the thought process behind it. I don't know if I hate it or not. You know? Yeah, of course, we'd be willing to give it back if the magistrate or whoever that oversees it wants that to happen, or they can prove where he got the money from. I mean,
and that's the only reason why.
Like,
pardon?
Unemployed, even. Like, where? I don't know. Maybe he can produce a bank statement where he withdrew $12,000, but otherwise, like, no reason to believe that people are just walking around in the streets with $12K in their pocket, while they're selling drugs. Like, that's the weird part.
So I can defend it.
Yeah.
It's just we've never done it before.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know.
And I understand why we might do it. It just feels weird in the fashion to how it was done.
Weird. No, it is. It's 100% weird, because who told them to do that? Who told them that they could? I get why they're trying, but I think we ever see this, like, no.
I've never seen anyone seize money.
Yeah, not like that. We seize, like, money bags, like inked money bags, but, like, not cash.
We seize loose notes. We seize rolls of cash. Just not in that fashion.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
It's 100% that he earned some of that money from selling drugs.
Probably. Yeah.
Because there's
what else would they be handing him?
Because there is a picture of him selling drugs.
And a little handoff of drugs. Yeah. So, yeah.
And there's suspicious calls, and he's the only one there. And that is the only reason he's not pleading guilty or going with a plea deal. And I'm kind of a situation of...
So he's only not pleading guilty to it because he wants his $12K back, basically.
Yes.
Okay, guess we just argue it and see what they say.
Yeah, I feel strange in it becoming standard practice.
Yeah. That's... I have to decide if this is okay or not. Because I generally don't know. I can understand the argument, but it's... How are we gonna... How are we even gonna do that? Like, so they just fined him $12,000.
On top of the other fines.
Actual fine of $16,000.
So yeah, he got fined $28,000. If there was, like, hard physical cash on him, like loose notes or bank rolls, I understand that being removed and that going, well, that's clearly commission because they're handing you loose notes and everything.
Generally don't know why they just did that. Did they say who told him to do that?
Nope. Doesn't say in the report.
It says...
Scott Diaz was the one who said that he allowed him to take it.
So Scott Diaz is just making calls. Yeah, okay.
See how it's kind of an awkward kind of catch?
It is kind of a weird thing to do, because do I punish them? You know what I mean? Because they seized evidence. That's how they're going to see it, But, like, there's no procedure that we have that tells him to take anybody's cash from them ever. Like, let me think on that one. That one's an interesting one. I don't like that. It makes me feel weird. I feel uncomfortable.
Yes.
In a way. Yeah. A little bit icky.
I feel
Gotta
icky
figure that one
too.
out.
I feel
Yeah.
very icky by the whole situation.
Especially since I just like looked in my pockets and I've got like $4,800 in cash on me. Because, you know.
I've got 2,000.
Yeah.
But it is very probable, with like a 99%, that he did earn some of that cash from selling the drugs.
Yeah, definitely. But we don't even have procedure that tells them to do that. And it's just kind of, I don't know. I'm seeing this recurring issue of Scott Diaz makes calls that he thinks are right and just, you know, doesn't ask for permission, and he doesn't ask for forgiveness either. He just kind of is like, well, is what it is. I have an issue with this. I don't know.
It's...
Yeah,
and if we say that that's okay, then that's going to be used again.
I don't think that we should do that.
So I don't think it's
really
I don't think it's criminally like against us, but it's against our policies.
Yeah. Yep.
Which is not something they can sue over.
Procedure telling him to do. No, I don't think so. Well, is he acting beyond his scope if it's not within policy? So maybe they could like civilly sue him for that even.
But they've got to know that first.
Yeah,
which means they've got to have our policies. They've got to have our SOPs.
Right.
Them not saying it's not common practice isn't enough for them to say this is a civil suit.
True. That is true.
And we've squashed so many times them getting our subpoenas so many times because they have tried that.
They try to subpoena for our policies all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's against our policies, but it's not I don't think it's criminally in the wrong.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Because I've offered them, if they can prove that he got that money legally, great.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to talk to his command about this too, because it's just like, even if he has like a founded reason in his mind, that doesn't mean that he can just create policy and just start like enacting protocol like that. You can't just make that stuff up on the fly just because he's a sergeant, and especially because he's a sergeant. Like I would be more conflicted on this if it was like, I don't know, like Miller or a lieutenant or a captain who had done this. This is just a sergeant who just told, you know, someone else to do it. Like, why are we just arbitrarily doing things that are not within our policy to do? You've never been trained to do that. You know? So he's now taught someone to do this, which is a problem.
I'm not even sure I'm going to get this. I'm hoping this person will come around for this whenever this trial is, but...
Yeah, we can hope. Yeah.
Oh,
we'll argue for it and we'll see what... I think... Get up with...
Sorry, that was a private conversation that... What am I telling her?
She stinks.
Okay. Lisa,
Yes.
you have your phone on you, right?
Uh-huh.
You do realize it's not transmitting any calls now? Unless the power's gone down.
Calls or texts or both?
Just calls. I sent you a text. I don't know whether you received it.
I didn't call you, but I read your text.
Yeah, I tried calling you and it didn't go through.
Okay. See you soon.
Over here, Lyra.
Oh, the power's out. That would explain why I can't call. I apologize for not being in uniform. I've just stopped on SAO.
Okay. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Morning.
Well, hello. Morning.
We haven't had a command meeting in a while. When was our last one? I feel like it was a good 3 months ago.
Yeah. We've had like very brief ones, but like for small stuff.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the October command meeting. Charlie Bucket, welcome to the command theme.
Why, thank you guys.
This is your first one, so pretty much it's just like the supervisor meetings, except it's just family today. So
Aw.
the aim for this meeting is just to have a general kind of check-in with everybody on the team, see where the department is at overall, the health, how the changes are playing out, and kind of some of the goals that I would like to implement moving forwards. So it's going to be a bit of like me giving my opinion and guidance, and then also I want it to be a group discussion to see where everybody's heads are at, the team, and like I said, the department overall. Okay. Let me just reply to Astrid really quick. All right, first and foremost, before we jump into the bulk of what I put in the command emails, I want to talk about the change for the max security policy, which is housing them in the solitary block. So just to loop Lyra in about everything that we discussed when it was me, James, Akira, and Charlie, basically we were trying to address the issue of inmates really not giving too much of a shit about their security levels. It's clear that they violate them when the local guards are watching them, and we were talking about how local guards would have to be fired and reported for doing so, for neglecting their duties. But that aside, it doesn't really seem like a security level is that much of something that the inmates think about when they're committing crimes within the prison. It's not much of a deterrent. It's an inconvenience. They moan and gripe about it, but really at the end of the day, it doesn't seem like there's any decision making if they want to commit an act of violence. They're just gonna full send it. And anybody throw into the pot as to why they think that might be? Is it a lack of consistency amongst our team in general with holding them accountable for their actions? Is that part of it? Is it that the security levels, the policies are broken when
I
they are on a
definitely-
security level? Is it that they're not strict enough?
There's definitely inconsistency between person to person based on what they do. Some people are extra harsh and some people aren't. For example, some things that I would charge for, I've noticed that others won't. It will just get put into a report. However, I've seen some that are extra things that that have made me and ah, and some others, and they've done it. So I definitely think there's an inconsistency in the way that it's approached.
So we feel like the scope of our discretion is a little bit too wide.
I definitely think so. If I look at the amount of charging that happens, it's very minimal. We tell PD recruits they can write warrants. They list in daily reports that they see things, but they don't write the warrants about them.
Do we feel that people are using the, I guess, less severe disciplinary measures that we have, such as putting somebody in cuffs for 5 to 10 months at a time or throwing them in solitary when they're not being charged, or just for general non-compliance or otherwise?
I
Or
think
is that
That does come
something...
into play yet.
I have seen less and less of people using 10 minutes in cuffs, 20 minutes in cuffs, or throwing someone in solitary for that, and more it happened or they charge them. It's one or the other.
Now there are some times to where people will do something. We slap them in cuffs. You know, they're tackling COs. We've told them to stop. We'll place them in cuffs for a bit, and then they get out of cuffs. They do it again, and then they do it again. It's like, okay, we're separating you from everybody, or you're going to get charged for the battery.
And that adds to my point. I'm going to interrupt you. That adds to my point. There are cases when we do that, but it's not consistent.
Yeah, I think one thing that needs to be more consistent too is giving out strikes. We have a lot of COs and even recruits who, when these people are acting up or they're, going out of their way to be problematic, they're not using the deterrent of you'll get a strike. Because usually, anytime I say, listen, if you continue, I'm going to have to strike you, usually they stop.
And if I tell them that they have until X amount of time and I use my methods that they're going to get a strike or they're going to go in cuffs and they're aware of the consequence, they do tend to stop.
So,
naturally, that doesn't work for more violent crimes, but for general non-compliance, making them aware of the consequences seems to stop them.
so what's the root issue that we feel is causing this discrepancy?
I guess a follow-up question on that I'll have is how we've been doing these promotions when we let people know what their tasks are. Have we let people know that two COs, you're allowed to give these people strikes?
I can't say that I've necessarily been a part of any of the recruits moving up to corrections officers. That's a good question. When I do the promotions for corporals and above, I pretty much personally have a rundown with each and every single one of them. So aside from that, I can't say.
Okay.
I'm afraid I can't say either. I have not been involved with them.
Okay.
Do you have those chats with them when you promote them?
I have not. Most of the time it's been just, all right, here's what you got to do, and then 15 more things come up. That's bad on me. I apologize. Things tend to get a little bit...
Well, maybe we can spend the next couple of weeks to do some re-education for our corrections officers. Maybe even put out just a bulletin for them or a notice for them to let them know that they do have that ability, that power, and make sure that our sergeants and corporals and even seniors are aware of this and spreading that information down.
That's a good idea.
So kind of recentering the training for some of these people.
Yeah.
Is the plan of attack here. How is the training division doing? What is the quality of the training that our recruits are getting from person to person?
I think that varies drastically. If we're strictly on DOC recruits, it really varies on who is working with them.
Now, if we're looking at the pool of people who's only PFTO and above, does it still vary?
Let me pull up my list. It's not a lot.
Yes, I think it can still vary.
Yeah, yeah, definitely varies. Yep.
By how wide of a margin? If we were to put like 1 as absolute atrocious training, this person shouldn't even be considered for PFTO in general, to 10, this person is a strong FTO, they could lead the division itself of training. How wide would we say the margin is for people who are currently PFTO and above?
My opinion is that it's not so much our supervisors and supervisors are above. It's our senior, our corporals below.
Is it that these people are just being given things and tossed to the wolves?
I would have to ask Luna what she is doing to support those, as that's their kind of section where they should be doing that, but I've not had any feedback from it, so that makes me think that yes, they are possibly being tossed to the wolves.
Okay. So one of the talking points that I had in general was just going forwards, kind of like we do for the corporals and above, for anybody who's given a promotion of any sorts, whether it's their actual rank in DOC or it's a training thing from, nothing to PFTO or even to FTO. I'd like us to start enforcing the fact that these people are to be kind of given a little briefing on what's expected of them, shown the ropes of everything. It's kind of doing a disservice to ourselves to just assume that people know what they're doing. It's proven itself time and time again. I can sit here and list some of the training reports that I've read from our PFDOs and greater, or even conversations I've had with them where it's very obvious they don't know what they're doing. And these are the people who are ultimately training our department, and
So I've got a good suggestion for this. What if we take like sergeants, corporals, seniors, and we have them like submit like questions that they have, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, give us all of your questions. Like, what don't you know? And that will actually help us to like teach the sergeants and educate the sergeants of where they need to direct the training and everything. Like what information's being left out, right? Because there's a lot of DSC, right? There's a ton of situations that come up that maybe aren't just detailed in the SOPs, like how do I handle this? How do I handle that? So if they have specific questions over specific procedures, policies, ways to handle things, if we just get a pool of what those questions are, then, we can get the framework of how to handle that and make them better too.
I think that could be a really good start, just for our baseline understanding of what they're really unclear on. The other thing that I'm not 100% sure that would alleviate, or the other part of it, is oftentimes people think they know what they're doing, and it ends up being, not standard procedure or protocol or aligning with what we would expect.
Yeah.
So that might be left out. Like, they might answer the questionnaire thinking that they know something and not ask a question about it, if that makes sense.
100%.
So I think that's a good place for us to start, do a little like FAQ kind of thing. But also, just so we avoid this going into the future, is just making sure that all of these people are met with when they're given a promotion for FTOs or the rank in general. just to go over everything that they need to know. Because unfortunately, and Akira has seen this in the SAO, we've seen this for years and years. People just, unfortunately, they don't read the documentation. We can sit here and write SOPs for everything, but people aren't going to read them. So I don't want us to waste too much time with more and more documentation. We already have enough that should be sufficient. They could be held accountable for not reading it, but in case anybody's thinking about writing something up, save yourself the time.
I planned on helping James out with some of the one-on-ones too. We can always connect with some of these people in the one-on-ones too, and give them a little, even maybe like a little quiz, or just talk to them about it, and give them some clarity.
Yeah, the one-on-ones are a great tool to just see where people are at in general, a good check-in, and it makes them feel seen and that, we care about them, which we do. If we could get those written up every time people are met with, so then like there's documentation, we can all look at it and kind of chip feedback in about it. That would be great, just so we're all on the same page, they're on the same page, and we can all kind of support each other in that. I'm happy to help out with those as well.
Okay. With that, while we're still on that topic, if I make in our email a little thread for these one-on-ones, I know we have a sheet, but like, be like, all right, I'm going to put this name. Anybody got opinions? And then that feedback stuff, and then we can include that. That way it's all covered. You want me to do that?
I'm sorry, I missed the first part of what you said. You're going to put something together? What is it?
So like in the emails, if I was to create a thread, and then like, all right, we'll list this person's name, and then people can give their feedback if they have any.
Like for Casey, yeah, that would be fine.
Yeah. All right, perfect.
We can try to get like a standard list of questions or topics when we have the one-to-ones if you'd like as well. We can do that another time.
Yeah.
Okay. How do we feel that the communication is amongst our command team? Just amongst command with one another. On a scale from 1 to 10, I want to go around the room. 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. Akira?
Yeah, that's kind of crazy considering. I guess in my case, like 4, I guess.
Okay. Lyra?
Six.
James?
A 5.
Charlie?
Like a 6.
Okay, so we're averaging like around a 5 out of 10. Which is not amazing, but it's not dumpster fire worthy, so that's good at least. What do we feel that we can improve on with communication? What are our pitfalls? Where can we make it better? What's being lost in translation? Just feel free to jump in.
I guess we have, like, what do we mean by communication? Like, are we talking about like information that's getting relayed from, supervisor to command? Are we talking about command members making decisions?
Just amongst our command team with one another, and then us specifically to other people.
I mean, I don't know. I always feel like that's, I guess, it's gonna be a loaded question. I mean, I guess it's just at the end of the day, it's like as long as people are communicating and using the resources that they have. I mean, we have an email for a reason. Like, it should just be utilized. And if we can talk in person, that's a lot better. Setting up meetings and all that kinds of stuff. It's at the end of the day, like, I mean, I guess the communication could be better, but it's at the end of the day, it's like, I don't know, like, what more can be done, I guess. Because I think because obviously, at least the meeting was able to be set up. We're all here. So, I mean, the communication there is fine. So it's just a question of, is it like certain decisions that isn't properly being relayed? And if that's the case, then obviously that's the whole point of using, our command email. So just pushing that information there. if we're talking about like people talking to each other and the way that they talk to each other, I mean, I guess that could be. And I would think everybody would at least try to be cordial when they talk to each other. So.
Okay. Anybody else have any input?
I think he hit it pretty much on the head.
I'd agree with that.
Okay, so what can we do to improve it then? Specifically, action.
More of these meetings.
Yeah.
And when just if there is a conversation that's had that's going to change the policy, just like a brief, this is why I like one sentence. This is why I'd like to change this. Or we want to change this.
But it also might be a good idea. It's like, you know, when we're talking about changing specific policies, you know, I would say it would probably be a good idea to pull that policy out, you know, if it's written down somewhere, and then just, you know, change it, whatever it needs to be, and be like, hey, this is what I'm suggesting. You know, what do you guys think? You know, things like that I would say would probably work a lot better. Because at least we know what we're specifically targeting, you know, if we're trying to change something.
Yeah.
I do think that having like maybe a monthly command meeting or even bi-monthly command meeting would probably be a good idea.
Yeah, and honestly, if there's nothing to really go over, I mean, there's most likely with all the shit we get, there's going to at least be one thing we can address. If we don't already like try and tackle it during its time when it comes up.
Okay. I'm just writing down the feedback. Do you feel that there are any any issues amongst our command team only that need to be addressed? Is there... Put it out on the table so we can address it here. I have some things that I'm going to address later, but if anybody else has anything on their mind they want to put out, please do so now.
Our command team on our command team, or
just about our command, if there are any issues ongoing amongst our command team.
I meant to give it some thought.
Okay, well, if anybody wishes to speak in private about anything, I'll be around. Over the past, I would say month and a half, it kind of goes along with what we talked about earlier, with there being a lot of discrepancy between, you know, discretion of people disciplining inmates. It's gone further than this, and I feel that we've kind of lost sight of some of our core values, I guess, and standards within the department and even the command team recently. There have been some things that have been coming up, and I've spoken to everybody for the most part specifically about that so far. But I just want to try and realign everything going forwards. My big ask for all of us as a team moving forwards, I really, really, really want to break the stigma of DOC is a daycare. And I know that it's kind of inherently the nature of what we do. We're here to supervise adults. There's a very, very clear parallel between the two. However, there is also a fine line between when you're using your discretion between authoritarian, which we are trying not to cross that line, and assertive. Now, I would really like for us to be assertive with how we handle the inmates and just any of the issues that come up in general. I don't want to cross that border into authoritarian, dictatorship-like style, ruling with an iron fist. That doesn't do anybody in the department a service, and it doesn't do the inmates a service. That's not what we're here and what we're about. We're the Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. However, you guys are not fucking punching bags. The rest of our staff are not punching bags. You are not here to just sit here and take verbal abuse all day long, to take physical abuse when that verbal crosses the line and reaches that point of escalation. I do not wish for anybody to sit here and be like, damn, I was somebody's bitch for my entire shift today. That should never be the case. And part of what I think will help mitigate that is using the extra options that we have available for the inmates anyways, such as having somebody go in cuffs for a certain amount of time when they're not being charged, having somebody go in solitary when they need to cool off. We have other tactics and methods available to us, and really, I've just asked that we start pushing those and using them more often. But again, please, I don't want it to cross over to any time somebody's even a toe out of line. We're just immediately resorting to something extreme. Now, that being said as well, some of the discretion that has been used amongst our staff, decision-making from command to our staff, is kind of crossing the line where we're just blatantly breaking the rules and the SOPs, and that is unacceptable. I've addressed most of those issues already with person to person. I have not administered any disciplinary action for it. I've been trying my best to be mama bear and understand where people are coming from, and that, a lot of the time it's been a loss of translation moment. The messenger loses the envelope, and it's just been shitty communication, to be straight up and honest. Going forwards, I'm not going to tolerate that anymore. If somebody makes a mistake, I'm going to ask you to own it, and not just an apology to me. That's going to be in the form of disciplinary and rectifying whatever mistake has been made. That's pretty much my 2 cents and where I'm trying to lead the department going forwards. I want us to be well respected amongst the SASP in general. We deserve that from them and anybody else in the state. The work that we do, the bullshit that we put up with, it is deserving of all of the respect in the world. And unfortunately right now, I'm very aware that we don't receive that. But the good news is we're on the path towards that point that I want us to be at. We're starting to garner a bit more respect with the police department, and that's just one step in the right direction. I want to keep pushing us towards that end goal of being the best that we can possibly be. All of you are here for a very specific reason. The people that you are, the skills that you all have, set you aside from everybody else in this department, present, past, and future. And I'm very privileged to have you all a part of the command team and be a part of that team with you guys. So I'm writing down that more command meetings are definitely necessary. I apologize for not having them more often. This is my thing, and I've dropped the ball on that, so I have nothing else to say, but I'm sorry for not having them more often and being more transparent in that regard. I do pride myself on my communication, so I'm embarrassed, to say the least, that this is where we're at because of that. But going forward, that is just my biggest wish for all of you guys and our department to have the respect that it deserves alongside having an excellent reputation. That's my little speech to y'all. Thanks for listening to my yap and coming to my TED Talk. If anybody has their own thoughts, I'm all ears right now, and then we'll move into the last couple topics before we close.
I'll have something after Akira.
I don't really have anything. One thing I just say is, love each other, you knucklehead.
Yes.
I do want to bring up the point that we just need to make sure when we're visiting charging that people aren't charge stacking.
Has that continued to happen?
It's happened recently, and I've spoken to Nora about it.
I also had, I think, 2 different conversations with a bunch of different individuals about making sure that that only happens if it's completely necessary. But like, you have to have certain people with you for it.
I think Akira, when we talked about this, we talked about it being with SAO on that.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much like any other sort of like alteration of like their fine and time and shit like that. You need to have SAO or somebody else. I'd prefer to have SAO there to be like, this is okay to do.
I think it
Honestly,
needs to be...
I wouldn't say it's a preferred thing. I think it should be required. If it's not a DOC command member, I'm willing to budge as to an extended supervisor or SAO. Outside of that, I don't think people should have their own discretion to push multiple charge stacks.
It's not even allowed within SASP without without SAO being there. I'm not even sure that command within SASP are allowed to do that.
Strike people for it moving forwards. It's not allowed as far as I'm concerned in the SASP. If you stack charges, you get fucked.
And if they speak to SAO, please add the SAO in there that they've spoken to about it. Does that sound fair to you, Akira?
So what I was gonna say is either the PDs, SOPs need to be updated. Like DOC, that's fine, but it says for PD and the SOPs that they are allowed to stack, but it has to be for somebody that is very, what's the word it says?
I apologize, I
A
misremembered.
shitter?
Yeah.
It's
Well
not even a,
deserving of the charges.
it's not even a shitter. It's a
Problematic.
it's an extreme. Akira's approved
Maybe
it
if
twice in the
Some spare for you.
in the 3 years I've been here. Akira, you've approved it with SAO. You've approved it twice.
Yeah, it says do not stack charges unless the offender is extremely violent or non-compliant and evidence is clearly backing you up to do so. That's all it says.
So to give you an example, 2 years and 2 times in the 3 years is.
Is the case that you're referring to with Nora's charge stacking was the person being a shitter?
It was a very strange situation. She charged. She got told about the crime via email by Cara Havelock. Cara Havelock sent her photos. She immediately put it onto a warrant with the charge. Not a warrant, she put it into an incident form with the report. Then she went into the yard to grab the wrench, and there were further charges occurred of that charge. She charged she charged this person twice for the same wrench.
Was that an intentional thing, or?
Yes, that was intentional.
Honestly, this is sad to say, but I just don't think that people even have a general enough understanding about charging itself to have the discretion of, is this a situation where I should charge stack?
Are you suggesting more like a, I guess maybe like a more prison-oriented penal code, or a section specifically just for the prison or crimes that happen in the prison?
I wouldn't worry about that. I mean, all the stuff we have essentially just ties in everywhere else. I mean, in here we were able to pull off the other stuff. It's just, I think people need to understand, go with the charge that makes sense.
Yeah, honestly, I think it just comes from a bit of lack of experience, right? Like, I'd have to talk to Nora to understand her reasoning behind it.
Her reasoning was that the contraband was, there was more contraband on him, but essentially she charged him with the contraband twice, which included that wrench twice, instead of, I think she was trying to charge for each piece of contraband that was possibly in there. And I've spoken to her, and we've made verifications that the charges all happen together. If it's a warrant, there's different stipulations with that, but because she responded to the yard within 10 minutes of receiving that email, her and Lena responded to the charge within that.
Yeah, I think the only time I would hit someone with like a...
The only time I would hit them is if there is an extended period of time. 10 minutes is not an extended period of time.
Yeah. And I think the only thing I could think of is like with a Molotov. I mean, you can technically hit them with contraband, but also, criminal use of incendiary.
But she hit him with this person with possession of contraband twice.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. That's the only way I could see, like, stacking it, right? Like a Molotov is contraband plus incendiary. So just because someone had contraband on him 10 minutes ago and you're charging, I don't agree with that one.
So I have spoken to Nora and explained that she needs to either put out a warrant, but because she dealt with it so close, it should have just all been in one charge. Fortunately, he pled guilty to both of them. So it was sorted, but...
Speaking of charges, has there been any progress in compiling Billy Johnston's paperwork?
I have all of his reports labeled out. I'm currently working through the paperwork of what you had as a template. I want to make sure I get everything detailed.
And how far are you?
Basically working through the report area right now. Just want to make sure I have everything thorough. That way it's clean.
Okay, when will it be done?
Friday night. Because I got tonight and tomorrow. I'm extremely busy through the night. I could probably work on them during the day tomorrow.
Okay. If you need help from other people, please ask them to assist you with it. Okay. For anybody who's not aware, we're just compiling, getting paperwork ready for Billy Johnston's extradition. It's just so it's there if we need to use it. Because if we get to the breaking point where this guy's got to go, I don't want us to have to take the time to then get all the paperwork together. So at least we just have it ready to go and we can all sign off when we're ready.
Yeah, rifles loaded then.
Yes.
Or rather, Lisa could sign off on it and go and fire it out of a rhinestone cannon.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you guys for your supporting signatures as well. I want your input on that, and it will strengthen the document, but... Yeah, I'm going to put a little note in our command emails with some general forms that I have. I don't think I've posted them anywhere before. I've just sent them out individually on an as-needed basis. So let me get that together, and you guys can take a quick look.
Yeah. Lisa.
Yes.
On the side note of the extradition papers, I haven't gotten to it yet, but I'm also going to be starting to work on Autumn's papers once I'm done with Billy's.
To be extradited?
Yeah.
Is this personally motivated?
No.
Does anybody else feel that she's at the point of being up for consideration for extradition?
I personally think that she's borderline on the edge of it. Yeah. I mean, and the reason I say that is 2 Molotovs in less than 24 hours, and the whole reason that she did it was because somebody was sitting in a circle. Like, that's an extreme level of violence over the pettiest, stupidest, dumbest shit I've ever heard. And, like, if that's the way that prisoners are going to act, then they just don't deserve to be housed in this prison.
I don't think she's pushed beyond the line. I would agree with Charlie. There are some times and people that she responds very poorly to. Unfortunately, she has also shown that she can redeem herself and get herself back up. So she's like a roller coaster that goes up and down.
when I had moved her security level, I think that was yesterday, or the day before. I think it was yesterday. I tried having a genuine conversation with her before anybody said anything about moving up or down. I tried understanding what was the point behind it. It was just purely he was in my circle. I'm like, Autumn, a circle isn't worth lighting a person on fire. And it just kept circling back to it's my circle, it's mine. Finally got to a point where she's just, nope, I'm done talking. Just put me in red. That's like, just want to have a conversation on understanding this. But
She also does have a track record of having poor conversations with you. Did you try doing a change of face?
Yes, like I had mentioned, I tried having a genuine conversation with her. I don't like having to sit there and holler at people. It's not something I find enjoyable on a daily basis. I want to have good conversations. I want to have good days with people.
I apologize. When I said a change of face, I meant did you try and see if she reacted to someone else differently? Change of face.
There was nobody else. Charlie had to leave yesterday, and I was the only other person. Hence is why I still haven't even gotten the charging stuff done for her, Jay, and Liam, because they were heavily insistent that they get charged as well. And I said, okay, well, I can't do it at this very moment.
I will say that I've had multiple conversations with Autumn. Luna was even part of one of those conversations where I offered to, if she would keep on the straight and narrow, if she would curb her behavior, and she would start to actually prepare for her parole, and if she can make it to her parole day without any more issues, that I'd be willing to speak for her at her parole hearing, that, you know, she's deserving of parole. And not but a few days after that, there was a whole event that happened that, you know, got her, you know, raised up to medium security. And then I had another conversation with her just the other day before the Molotov incident, where I was talking to her about her behavior and her extreme ability to basically just be impulsive and act on her impulse. And she told me about how she feels how everyone's abandoned her, how she has, you know, all these abandonment issues, and people keep lying to her and say they're going to come back and they never come back. And, you know, she feels like no one cares about her, and she feels like Nia Rossi's disappointed in her. And I had this whole conversation with her about, you know, instead of drowning in disappointment, use that disappointment to prepare yourself to something better. You know, use it to make yourself, you know, behave, get out of prison, get on parole, show people that you can do these things, you know, rebuild their trust. After I had this whole conversation with her, she pours her heart out, she agrees to it, she understands. Not but a few hours later, she's setting Cara Havelock on fire. So, I mean, I
mean, I gotta run, so.
Okay.
All right. Have a good one,
Lisa,
Akira.
it might be worth doing your Come to Jesus talk that you're so good at.
I can try.
I don't know where the disconnect is with Autumn, right? I don't know if it's just she's manipulating us all and just having these moments of, yeah, I understand I did wrong and I'm sorry, and it's just bullshit, and she's just lying her ass off, or if she just, I don't know, if it doesn't just compute. I don't understand what it is, but I can say that I'm sort of at my end of offering the olive branch and trying to have a heart-to-heart and a serious conversation with someone, only for it to turn around and have it blow up and, you know, in my face, and, you know, not but a few hours later, someone stabbed, blown up, beat down, whatever it might be, you know?
Well, if she wants to improve and get better, then ultimately it doesn't really matter what the circumstances when she's being violent towards people, whether they have disrespected her or not. If she wants to be a better person. She wants to reform. She wants parole. That's got to click for her that that is not how people operate. And I don't care if it's a prison or not. If that's what she's going for, she's missing the mark. And really, you can't really pity somebody who is, creating their own problems at that point. All we can do is try and address the behavior that she's giving us, whether it's good behavior or bad.
Yeah.
So,
well, what I mean is that, like, this is the woman who, after I had that first heart-to-heart with her, with me and Luna, she then put Lena in ICU. You're right. Like, held her up, bashed her skull in, and then turns around and within 12 hours or 24 hours has 2 Molotovs. Like, her extreme violence is something that just can't be ignored, no matter what kind of pity party she wants to put on.
We've had bad cats through here before, right? Like, I've never seen people at this level on a daily.
I have.
Is she really that bad? Like, I know she's fucking annoying, but, like, let's be honest here.
It's not a daily thing. But
Okay.
it is more than just uncommon. It is perhaps I would have to get the look at previous, because there are days that she has proven that she can go without incident for several days, for long periods of time, because she's got herself down to no security from Max.
Like, let's be honest here. If we're putting her on that chopping block, like, to be honest with you, from what I've heard and what I've seen, I do not think that she's on the same level as, like, Indy or Libby.
She is 100% not on the same level as those. She's also not on the same level as Jessie Smith.
Like, I get she's fucking irritating, and she definitely has her moments of overreacting, I guess. And she's a violent piece of shit at times, 100%. But I'm just not seeing her on that point yet. Like, I get that she's fucking infuriatingly exhausting, right? But I mean, at the end of the day, just restrain her if she's being annoying. She refuses to go down, beat her.
With that being said, is when we have to issue out these disciplinary. A lot of that time is usually what comes to her hating my guts so much, and it's because each and every time it's just something that doesn't calm down for her. It's like, okay, let's stop doing this. Okay, you get a punishment. Half hour later, something else will come up. It's like, okay, well, what are you trying to accomplish? What is the goal for today?
Well, I think that road is a two-way. Am I wrong? The hating each other.
It's not. From Autumn's side, she absolutely hates your guts. From various different reasons.
I'm already fairly aware with how much
I'm saying it's not one way. This is a two-way street, no?
I dislike her behaviors. I don't hate her as a human being. I met her prior to her even coming into prison because she wanted to see her sister, and I wanted to get that facilitated for her. Unfortunately, during that time, that's when Summer was all on Max for, I don't even know the time, but that's irrelevant. But then she got into prison.
I would say that some of the things that have happened before, like you proposed, where when Summer was punished, Autumn would also receive the same punishment. Some of the things that you have informed her and tried to make her accountable for her actions have certainly led her to feeling like this is unfair balance pointing. I'm not saying that it is or it isn't, but those are some of the things that she's brought up, is you trying to make it so that when Summer was punished, Autumn would also be punished, to hold them both accountable.
And that never came to fruition, hence is why when it was discussed with me not to do it, it was immediately dropped and it wasn't going to
But it was still said in front of her. So it's still something that it's still something that was proposed in front of her, was told to her that was going to happen, and it doesn't matter if it didn't happen. That kind of sets the tone with her of how she's interpreted. That is that you are going to hold her accountable for everything, including you were going to hold her accountable for her sister's actions.
And I will say that based on the newest report that just came in this morning, if you look, she's kind of starting to get to this whole victim complex thing that people like Libby and Jesse did. I don't want to see her go down that route, but she's starting to.
It's always like the cult leader archetype. Like somebody is a piece of shit, they don't like being held accountable, and then suddenly they're a victim and people take their side, and then they're like the ringleader. And it just gets pumped up and up and up like a big fucking hot air balloon until one of us, the last straw, pops the balloon, and then it all goes to shit.
When you say the report this morning, you're talking about the 5 bullet points where it says that she was quiet and she had something on her mind.
Right, and if you look at the picture of the stuff that she's writing on the cell block wall...
Do we know that it's her?
I mean, that's inside of solitary. That's in her cell block. That's in the cell that she was being housed in.
And
that doesn't look
if
like...
it's in regards,
I apologize.
If it's in regards to this latest incident to where she got moved up, and again, I haven't had time to charge, like, she fully admitted that she's the one who did what she did, as well as the other 2 were involved. Like, this is... It's extremely frustrating for me. I don't like having to sit there and discipline someone on a daily, or even bi-day, on a weekly basis. I still have a job to do, and when I know there's a lot that goes against me when the stuff comes up, and it fucking sucks. It really does, because it's a lot of the decisions that have to happen during that time. Because like you pause it for a certain time, then later on they come around. It's like, well, why am I being punished now and not earlier? Like, we only got so much time, guys.
I mean, we can go to the max cell and see if it's still there on the walls.
I believe you. I just didn't see that it was in the max cells because it's just of a brick wall and we have multiple. But I believe that that was in the max cell. I didn't realize that she was there and that was taken off the max cell. What I would encourage, and you guys can disagree, is that if we're getting frustrated with an inmate, that we encourage people to do change of face. Have someone else come and deal with it who can remain calm in these situations, because there are people like Billy Johnston who you get right, or let me see, Jessie Smith, you'll get riled up with her and she'll just start bouncing off that. And having someone else step in and do the change of face may be someone who can remain more level-headed with it.
I mean, that could be a case-by-case thing, definitely. Like, if somebody's just not getting anywhere with a certain officer, if it's a personal discrepancy, sure, sometimes that might be helpful, but that's not, unfortunately, a sustainable long-term solution. And that's one of the other points that I wanted to mention for our command meeting, is that I feel a lot of the strategies at times that we try to look at, I want to avoid avoidance of the problem, the root core, and I would rather if we just try to address them directly when possible. So like I said, this situation with Autumn and James, we'll just use as the example. Sure, having Charlie come in and help out during a charging situation with Autumn, where James is the arresting officer, that might help for this one specific incident, but the root core problem is not going to get any better. It's just going to get worse, and now Autumn's going to expect that she should be free from ever having to deal with James if she has an issue with him. That is not sustainable and not something that I want to really cater to in a long term, if that makes sense. So
I was talking about if the CEO was getting frustrated, like they were feeling personally frustrated.
Well, yeah, of course. I'm just trying to clarify that because Autumn is under the impression that she should not ever have to interact with James within the facility. And I told her straight up, I was like, I understand you're frustrated and I'm sorry to hear that, but, you're going to have to suck it up and deal with it because he's a corrections officer, and on top of that, he's a lieutenant here. You're going to have to deal with him sometimes, whether you like it or not. If a corrections officer is at the point where they're so frustrated they can't do their job, then sure. I mean, at that point, yeah. But I would honestly like them to use whatever strategies they have available to them to avoid getting to that point. If they're frustrated because they've had to put up with so much nonsense, just shut it down sooner, you know? There's plenty of methods to do so. You don't have to engage in a conversation back and forth. You don't have to sit there and justify yourself to them. If it's not going to be productive, that is not necessary. Myself, when I'm charging people, if they're giving me trouble and asking questions and it's just so they can argue with me around in circles, I'm not going to waste my time, my breath, or my mental energy on that. I'm just simply not going to do it. I've got better things to spend my energy on than arguing about why somebody's getting charged for stabbing an officer. You know what I mean? I've got better things to do. You all have better things to do and ways to spend your time than do that. Now, if somebody genuinely has questions, of course, feel free to answer them and engage, but try to save yourself the headaches when you can. Like, we are not servants to these people, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%.
There is a such thing as stupid questions, and inmates ask a lot of them, intentionally. But yes, if you do feel like you're at that breaking point, feel free to ask for somebody else to step in and help you out.
One thing I have noticed as of recent, and I want to get this addressed, so hopefully it can stop, because it does have quite a bit of a thing. But a lot of these inmates are completely coming at me in regards to the whole change between me and Lyra, in more of a toxic sort of coming at me. And I'm honestly just exhausted from it. And I don't know where all of it's stemming from.
They knew about my divorce before I had even said anything to them.
The fact that it's still going. I'm not saying that you're saying anything. It's just this whole thing. Oh,
While we're doing that,
sorry, just needed to test you.
Not washed, for the record.
Oh, she's washed.
Oh, never
sorry.
mind.
That's a wall.
Okay.
thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna move around here before you find any more fuzzy handcuffs. Except Lisa will have rhinestone ones, so I'm feeling less comfortable now.
So as far as that, I'm just going to speak generally. If work is being crossed with personal and personal is being brought to work, there's no place for it. There's no place for it in general in a work environment, especially not a prison. Now, those kinds of personal conversations, disclosing any information other than if you wish to disclose that you and Lyra are not together, whoever, that's as far as I'd say it's acceptable and appropriate to discuss or even just say, because they knew you were married, so whatever, that's up to you if you want to tell them we're not anymore. If it goes any further than that, that is unacceptable, and I don't feel that that's professional to disclose any information regarding that with inmates or any of the staff on duty either.
Right.
Now, as far as the inmates, I think it's atrocious optics if you two are the ones trying to step in and tell them to stop. Now, I would say it's fine if you remind them that that is not an appropriate conversation to have with you, but going any further than that, I think you'd probably be better off having somebody else intervene and trying to shut down the conversation that way if it gets to the point where the inmate is insistent about discussing it or asking questions to you. Mm-hmm. Now, from my personal standpoint, I am sick and I didn't sleep well, so I am tired. I am sick and tired of hearing about that drama personally. So please shut it down when it's here. I'm a resource to both of you guys in a professional and personal context. but when people are coming to me left and right about this problem, I'm ready to pull my hair out about it. I don't know where it's come from. I don't care where it's come from. I just want it to stop.
Yes, ma'am.
Of course, I wouldn't.
I'm just gonna say this. There's been a clear rift, tension, divide, and it's not just me who's noticed this. Other people are coming to me about their concerns about it and how they've seen it manifest within the prison. So unfortunately, it's being recognized and picked up on, whether it's, a blatant comment or something to that effect, or just subtle signs. So much as tone or a passing comment, one way or the other. So please, we're better than this. We can rise above this. You're more professional. If you need a friend to talk to, or you need your warden to talk to, I'm here either way, privately or in a group context. But please, for the sake of everything.
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. That aside, we kind of hit pretty much all the other bullets, so I guess just specifically, do we have anything else we want to throw into the pot here and discuss before we look at recaps and closing?
I was approached by MJ from EMS Command. Apparently, they were looking at whatever their new Parsons therapy stuff. They were potentially speaking about appointments for inmates. They just wanted me to bring that up, but I said it'd probably be better to have them try and sell it in a command meeting between us and them.
1 second, James, hold that thought.
Yep.
Okay, I'm sorry, you were saying?
Oh, you're fine. Basically, MJ was telling me about how EMS has their little therapy thing for Parsons.
Mm-hmm.
And they were willing to offer sessions for the inmates. I said this would probably be best I'll bring it up, but we probably should have like some sort of command meeting with EMS Command.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, start getting some of these inmates some sort of therapy session. I mean, that might not be a bad idea.
Yeah. I mean, that gives them a third. I mean, I'll hold my cards before I share my thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got excited there, man.
I've got two things to throw out too whenever we're done with this stuff.
Lyra, what are your thoughts about that?
About counselling?
Yeah.
I have no particular strong thoughts against or for it. It's another thing that can be abused by them. I don't know the strengths of these counsellors.
I mean, there is that.
How well is the program doing outside, like right now?
Good question. I haven't heard nor seen anything on it yet. I don't know if they've rolled it out, but I know it's been in the talks for Christ since I was still searching.
Mm-hmm. How would it be abused, Lyra?
I'll hold my reservations.
How come?
Because they are only reservations at that. It's another facility. They are only reservations at this point.
Do you only have reservations about the topic?
It's another thing for them to abuse, have the victim complex. And
I
what
think it would
spreads
exacerbate that.
what spreads from there can also spread back into the prison and vice versa. I don't know the strength of these counsellors. They could make these issues worse. Good at counsellors won't, but I don't know the strength of them.
Mm-hmm.
Counselling can make things worse before it can make things better. And if they're not regularly engaging with them, it's going to make things worse.
Well, we could meet with EMS Command to see what they mean exactly, the specifics.
Yeah.
And kind of give them our thoughts on that, because if it's just like, you know, when you talk to your friends and it's like, damn, like this really awful thing happened to me, like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, like they take your side, right? If that's what it's like, like the inmates would be talking to a friend, then yes, I can definitely see how that'd be atrocious for us. I'm curious to see who's on their, I guess, team for that.
Yeah, likewise.
We can even see if they can only have like certain whitelisted people who can come up and be therapists for the inmates, those who are the best at the jobs,
Yeah, I
and
think
who
that'd be a
would
good
give
idea.
them constructive feedback in sessions. I'm willing to hear it out and see, and then we can weigh and assess later as a team based on that conversation with EMS Command.
I think that's a good idea.
All right, Charlie, what do you got?
All right. I've been contacted by Elise. I forget how to say her last name, and as well as Victoria Wolf, as far as fertilizer and flowers to be sold in their 24/7s.
Mm-hmm.
They'd like to set something up with us to be able to do that. So if we do that, which I don't have an issue with that, I think it's a great idea. It would definitely help get fertilizer out of the prison so that inmates stop throwing it around like idiots all the time. What do we want to pay inmates per flower, per fertilizer? And then what would we want to sell it to them for to be able to sell it at their 24/7s?
Fertilizer, we used to buy the 5 or 10 per bag and sell it to Top Hats for 20. Not Top Hats, THC for 20. Flowers used to be 50 per. But that's when flowers were plentiful, and they're not so plentiful anymore.
Maybe just double the price on the flowers. That way they're at least being able to be sold.
Yeah.
I don't even think it's like the production has gone down by 50%. I'm pretty sure it's gone down like to 10% of what it used to be.
Wow.
Okay.
The ground is that bad. It's just been made into fertilizer mud.
Maybe that's something we can work on. I don't know if there is necessarily a reason for it, but okay. Well, with that in mind, are we good then to say that we'll start buying fertilizer from inmates for like $5 a bag, and then just sell it for like $10 a bag to Elise for her 24/7, and then flowers we'll just buy for 100. Or we could still buy them for 50 and then just sell them for 100, and then that money just goes into the DOC account.
I'm okay with that. It's just a matter of them coming to pick it up because it gets a lot.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. I'll work that out with them then and let them know, and then we can start to facilitate that down through the ranks so that people know. And then the other thing was, so shakedowns. If you guys would look at report 114209, I got a couple of things on this report here. So this is a random lost member that goes by the name Mayday.
What was the number again?
That it is
114209.
114209. Yep. So this is a random lost member that goes by the name Mayday, who evidently broke into the prison. This was, what was this? Yesterday? Day before yesterday? No, yesterday. Sorry. But notice in the report, G-Rag says there was 2 people. Who the second person? Because there ain't no other report.
All
And-
right.
Lena processed that person.
The second person?
This was yesterday night, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, except the only difference is that Colbert didn't make it into an incident and Lena did. It's report
Maybe that's why I couldn't find
114210.
They're both incidents.
I just made the Gregory's
And
into an
now,
incident.
yeah. Okay, so they're both part of the loss. So, see, 2 lost members breaking inside of the prison. So now I'm starting to wonder if the lost MC, whenever they were in here for all that mayhem stuff, if they're not starting to try to smuggle stuff in for the lifers.
Possibility.
Why do they not even take evidence photos of the pockets?
Uh-huh.
I was there running a boot camp while this happened. Like,
Yeah. I mean,
hate
why
having
else
to
are
micromanage people? Why can't I just trust them to do the job?
2 members of the lost just gonna break into the prison? You know what I mean? Like, it just did. So I don't know. Like, I know that we've been having an issue with contraband. I know that we've been having an issue with the phones, mouths, wrenches, ladders. Like, they got to be coming from somewhere. And you know, if we're constantly, I think we got lucky in catching these 2 trying to break in. So, I mean, I would like to propose that we set in stone like a weekly for sure shakedown. Not that we tell the inmates about, not that we tell the, you know, like lower ranks about, but just like once a week, you know, amongst command, we say, hey, let's do a shakedown, and then, you know, we just come in and we go ahead and just organize a shakedown happens. Because the contraband's just been crazy.
Yeah.
We recently spoke in a supervisor meeting to have them more regularly, no?
I
Yeah.
thought we had random shakedowns. Like, if you see it fit or see something like that, be like, all right, let's do shakedowns. Which that should have already warranted it, but
Yeah,
depending on
I think part of the problem is getting everyone to learn where the stashes are, because you've got a lot of people who just either don't remember,
yeah,
you know, or like new people that have come in and made their way up to like corrections officer or something like that. Like, they're just not aware of like where stashes are, or, and you know, I potentially think that there's a stash or 2 that we're missing, because I've seen days where we have had a shakedown and all we found was like electronics, and then not but a couple hours later someone's getting stabbed or mollied.
yeah.
You know, so
Wait, what?
Lena would like to leave her max cell at 028 and I are escorting it out. Oh, she's liking to leave Supermax. No?
Why would
Lena?
Lena like to?
Why would Lena?
Look,
I'll hop on right, yeah.
She's in Supermax because she chose to be, what was her period security level? I think it was max.
it was Max.
Oh, it was Max, yeah.
How long was she on max for?
I think 3 days, but
Would it be worth then her going back down to
Probably
medium? Because she went to Supermax by her own choice.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that could work. She goes into the yard. She runs the risk of getting jumped again by the goon squad, but you know, we'll just have to deal with that as it comes.
yeah.
.301 to 620. You're escorting Miss Cara Havelock, right? Okay, go ahead and take her over to the changing room and change her to yellow and let her know she's been lowered down to medium security.
Three, 4, or 5 days of good behavior to bring her down. Which one?
I'd say 3.
Apparently, Ronnie Cabron's been on medium since the 29th of August.
He doesn't really wake up.
Yeah.
But I see a report from 29th, 30th, and the 4th.
Right. So what Ronnie does is he'll usually wake up for 20 to 30 minutes to like talk to a lawyer or something like that, and then isn't seen again.
But someone's got him in Supermax.
What?
Who, Ronnie?
Liam Tubbs. Oh, they've added Ronnie's name on here. Hold on.
Has he even been fined?
No, because every time he wakes up, there's no one around from SAO.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ronnie's been fined.
Has he?
Has he? Because it wasn't updated on the inmate roster then.
Mr. Cabron was fined. Oh, wait, is there a new thing?
I think
I thought
so.
he collected mayhem off of that day he stabbed like 4 people consecutively.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I thought
Let me check that actually. Hold on. I don't have access to this, but I've been informed that it looks like it's still ongoing.
Okay.
So that needs to be fined by SEO Judiciary, just wasn't removed from last time. He's still in the middle of a trial. I don't know what's going on with it.
I'm limited on my time. Kind of circling back to the training stuff like that. Would you guys like me to circle back, work through, and have more of a focus with Bella and Luna to help them get
Thank
the
you so
best where
much.
they can be?
What was that?
For like all the training stuff like that, is to reprioritize my focus more to helping both Bella and Luna in the FTILO, whatever letter it may be.
Well, let's have a feedback from them first to see if how they're doing. I don't want to make assumptions that they're struggling when actually they could be doing absolutely fantastically. And vice versa, and Luna's just gone out of the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
There will be some people I remove for inactivity in the DOC side, unless anyone's highly protesting, because it's been over 30, which is Stephen Nova, Victor Bianchi, Tali Voss, and Rain Boss.
Talia and Rain are both part-time. They're going to be circling back here shortly. It's just mostly due to the whole Billy Johnston thing.
They're down as recruits for us. So I need to know whether they're actually part-time officers or whether they're considered...
They're part-time recruits because they're not currently a law enforcement officer, so they were hired as recruits. But they are part-time regardless.
Okay.
That shouldn't affect your decision for termination, though.
It's been it's been 30 days since they clocked on.
They have next to no hours as well, I believe.
Right, but they were advised, if I'm not mistaken, by Akira to not work at DOC because of the Billy Johnson stuff, because Billy was making threats against Talia and Rain Boss's life at one point. Not saying that's not resolved now. I'm just saying prior to this, that was an issue and a concern.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts, Lisa? Because even before that, they've been hired with us since the 16th and the 18th of August, and between then I see that Talia has 3 hours, and Drain has...
Well, do they still want to be here, James? Is that what they
13
said?
hours.
I'm assuming you spoke to them?
Yes, they want to start coming back in. I think Talia had mentioned maybe doing like what is it? More like a life or food drive when she gets back. She wants to run it by you. I don't want to skew it at all.
When are they coming back, did they say?
Might be this weekend.
What did they say when they talked to you?
Essentially just covering that they want to be coming back and they want to start doing this because a lot of the Billy stuff has, well, mostly been addressed since that last meeting they had. But I wasn't given like a solid date. And I can let them know it's either got to be here this weekend or we can't keep you. It's up to you guys.
I just have concerns that Billy Johnston has been here since nearly a month after they started. I'm not saying a total month, but nearly a month. He arrived on the 12th of September. They started on the 16th, 18th of August. Rain has more hours than Talia, but Talia only has 3. So to say that that's 2 weeks where... That's nearly, like I said, nearly a month where she's only done 3 hours.
Even Voss has been up here working. Ryan. Well, whatever. They give them another week. If they're still not coming around, then just there's really no reason for them to be on our roster or hired. If they want to come back at some point, they can. But if they're going to be inactive or they can't work for right now, then there's just no reason. They're part-time recruits.
And Billy Johnston is in Supermax.
He's now a max.
Oh, is he now on Max? Well, that's
Yes.
now in solitary, so in theory they could have the ability to just stay away.
Yeah.
I appreciate what Akira's trying to say, just whilst he's segregated from the rest of Gen Pop. I may be beating off the track there, I have concerns about the activity.
Yeah, I mean, it's clear that they're not really active, so just give them a week. If they don't want to or they can't work for their own safety, then that's fine. Like, I'm not going to pressure them into doing so, but like I said, there's no reason for us to still have them hired if they're not coming up to do the job. If at some point in the future that's something they're still interested in, we can always revisit, but there's just no reason they're not up here working.
Correction, Stephen Nova hasn't quite reached that time.
I reached out last weekend, and I have gotten 0 response. Like, I think they all just need to... Yeah. And like Lisa had mentioned, if they want to come back, they can reach out and talk to us. It's like, at least for some of them, I was expecting them like, hey, sorry I'm having this difficult time, but nothing.
Well, if you want to talk to them, just be like, hey, like, we're doing our activity checks, and we're just looking to see if you still want to be coming. If not, it's fine, we understand, but we're just going to be looking to remove you. If you want to come back, you can at some point. All right, next.
I'm guessing it got discussed about lawyers. About lawyers and making sure they've got their ID.
During this meeting?
No, just something that was brought up about lawyers, making sure that has there been any issues with lawyers beyond the one incident?
That I'm aware of.
No.
No. Okay. We might have a new person that is possibly stalking Gregory, it looks like.
Yeah, I was contacted by Harlow, however you say her last name now, about.
Harlow Camille Corbin.
No. I was who used to be Voss. I
Harlow
don't know the
Severo.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, hiya.
Apparently,
Sorry. I saw Anne on duty and I was surprised.
she was writing me about how Emerita's stalking Bolingbroke again, and yesterday she stalked her leaving Bolingbroke. I told her to make sure she writes reports, be detailed, and if things seem to be getting worse, contact an officer to come and assist.
Severino.
I had been approached by a couple different FTOs for like some of the boot camps. I feel like there's a few things that have been getting left out with like evidence gatherings. I don't know if things are getting left out or what's I don't know. I like the last one. I don't think I was there for. I only got there at the last minute. But like I guess we're having some COs going to the boot camps. And I think we kind of might just need to recircle back to having those seniors who are those PFTOs, and we can like have an FTO shadow with them for a bit so they understand what the standard is. I guess is what I'm trying to spit out. I'm having a hard time today. Standard of what we need them to do and relay it during these boot camps and making sure that they're keeping it nice and tight. But I think that falls back to our FTOs, to where we need to maybe like have a conversation and brief up the training.
Yeah, this is why I'm not very fond of allowing people to attend boot camps when they're not trained to be an instructor, haven't had any experience. It's one thing if they're going just to shadow, but if they're, like you said, it's the corrections officers who are being allowed to go and not PFTOs, don't have the experience, training, knowledge, and they're the ones instructing and leaving things out, then that really rests on whoever's authorized them to attend.
Yeah.
So is there somebody who's been allowing this to happen?
I'm not sure. It's just some information I've gotten from some of the FTOs that were there.
And did they step in to address those missing points?
I would hope so. I'm not 100% certain on my own.
Okay. So they need to be doing that then.
Yeah,
if they realize something's left out, then they need to fix it. And the supervisors who are allowing corrections officers to attend and etc. need to make it clear that they're to go as a shadow and not to do something that they're not authorized to do.
Okay. I'll probably try and get PFTO, FTO meeting scheduled sometime this next week so we can maybe get some of these younger peeps more up to par. Hopefully we can get them squared away, if that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is there anything else I gotta dip within, like?
No. The one note that I forgot to mention earlier is that when people are promoted, whether it's their rank or it's in the FTO department, division, whatever. I want to give people a week minimum or 2 weeks before they start engaging in the extra things that they get with the promotion. So, for instance, when somebody becomes a corporal, I don't want them going to interviews right away. I don't want them investigating internal complaints with sergeants and lieutenants and command straight away. I want to give these people time to grow, settle into their role at first, focus on themselves, and having that extra, you know, rank on people in chain of command. For corporals specifically, I think it's a better roadmap to get them on interviews first before they start doing disciplinary, but that's just my opinion. And I don't want people trying to like speed run all the different certifications too. So for certs, when somebody's promoted, I want to give them a week if it's just something extra like air or canine, etc. Just breathe. We're not in the Olympics. We don't have to speed run everything. And most of the time they're not ready to be doing these things to begin with. And it's partially, I think, in my opinion anyways, how we've wound up with people engaging in areas they're not quite ready to yet.
It's like bringing a fish home from the store. You gotta let it acclimate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Give it that acclimation time.
So do we think a week is a good period of time, or would we rather 2?
I think 2 is good.
I think, yeah, probably 2 would be good before they start getting the overwhelming supervisor shit.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and then just kind of the fine details on that shit. The general roadmap for corporals, right? So we'll give them the 2 weeks before they start doing interviews or the disciplinary. And then we always want it to be like they begin to shadow. They go there so they can learn and observe. And then once we feel that they're comfortable with that, you know, they've been to a couple, they can start to help with proctoring the interviews. And eventually we can see how they start to fare on their own, you know, giving them more responsibility bit by bit as far as that's concerned. And then disciplinary, honestly, I don't really want them to be really involved in when we're issuing strikes or otherwise too much. I don't think that's really something that I'd want corporals a part of until like they're just about ready for sergeant. So investigative is fine, I think, but I want your guys' opinions too.
I think that's actually pretty good. Once they're getting closer to sergeant, they can see how the final area of that is, but their skills can be more utilized in the investigation. I like that.
Yeah, use them to gather up the information and things like that. But then let the sergeants in command make the decisions and stuff, and then as they get closer to that, yeah, like bring them in for the striking process and stuff. I think it makes sense.
Hopefully that way that they can observe everything and learn how it's really done, rather than having them thrown to the wolves when it's time for them to step up.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anything more?
I'm all good.
All right. Love you guys. Stay safe.
Bye.
Bye.
Is this the part where we all start drinking?
No, it's apparently the part where the technicians decide they're going to kidnap the warden.
Oh. Well.
It's also the
All
part
right.
where I start dazing, apparently. I need to go and talk to Cursida. Thank you for getting the other person clocked on, logged in with the contract.
Oh,
No, that
yeah.
was Bella. Never mind.
I was wait. I was like, which one? I was like,
Cody Noble.
yeah. I know that there was talk of another 24/7. So good. I'm
Yes,
glad
there.
Bella's
done that one. That one's for Sky Cormart.
Who runs that one?
John Stye, but he's gone away for 30 days on holiday.
That makes sense. Okay, yeah. All right, good. I'm glad to see Top Hat actually getting out there in the convenience stores.
It works. We just have to make sure we've got inmates to open it. Like Gary could open. Oh, could Gary open it? Gary could open it, and so could Colt. And so could Cara and Billy can't. If any of the transfers want a job with it, they're more than welcome to.
Okay.
I took some of their names for the cart, though. For the bundles.
I love some of the bundles that got made up.
What, the Cannibal Cutie and the Sweet Peril?
It's so good.
I do like the Cannibal Cutie. He is a precious goober. Did you see what's inside the Cannibal Cutie?
No, I did not.
Tater tots, fries and steaks. So tater tots because they're cute, fries and steaks because they're bloody, juice box because it's cute, potato shake just because of how brutal that can be to shake that all up.
Yep. Oh my god, I love that.
And sweet parole is sweet potato s'mores and cream soda.
Oh, welcome back, our fearless leader.
Hi.
I was like, is this the part where we start drinking? And then,
No, the technicians kidnapped her.
the technicians were like, nope, bye.
You're mad at all the requests that I've made. It's our payback.
I will say the Halloween decorations on the prison are very nice.
Right?
I was not expecting to walk into work with a gigantic spider on the wall, but hey,
Yeah, I can't say that I was exactly prepared for that myself.
I was waiting to have to 22 shots for a command member mag dumping a spider, but it didn't happen.
Please, okay. I'm gonna be kind of 10-7 for a few mics. If I can get out of these chairs.
Well, I mean, if we're all good, I guess I'll get out of here then.
I'm gonna head on out. I've got to talk with somebody from SAO.
Okay, no problem.
Was there anything
Thanks.
else you wish to bring up?
Nope, you're amazing.
Thank you.
Bye. Good luck with your chat.
Bye.
Hello.
Hello, you want to come and fill your supply?
Yeah, I'll be. I'm just going to Bikes R Us to grab a bike real quick, and then I'll be on my way.
Okay, I'll let Charlie know and see if Charlie can help support with that.
No worries. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Hello.
Hello.
You were on the Polito call, so I didn't want to. I just wanted to text you
Yeah.
to.
You're fine. There's too many things that I can't stomach. Then
Hello.
Hello, are you still at MRPD?
No, I walked further down San Andreas towards the museum.
Museum?
Do you not know what? It's the. My tracker's on. It's down San Andreas.
PD, why are you walking?
Because it's something I do.
I feel like you want to get kidnapped.
I haven't been kidnapped in months. I'm good.
Your tracker's not on, by the way.
Yes, it is.
Mine, it is not. Nice, we're just fucking around. Get in my car.
Hello.
A cadet flew off because his driving is awful.
Your cadet flew off because his driving was awful.
Yeah, so he was driving and he hit something and flew out the vehicle because he didn't have his fucking seatbelt on. Yeah, where were we?